Few games have managed to etch their mark in gaming history quite like Red Dead Redemption 2. Released in 2018 by Rockstar Games, this masterpiece continues to be celebrated for its groundbreaking design, narrative depth, and immersive open-world experience. Here's why RDR2 remains one of the best games ever made, years after its debut. Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place in 1899. 12 years before the original game's events. If you didn't play it, don't worry, you'll be able to understand the story just fine. Arthur is part of a tight-knit group that follows a charismatic leader named Dutch van der Linde. The Dutch's primary goal is to stay as far away from civilization as possible and live life as a free man. But at the turn of the 19th century, with cities and towns expanding across America, that was not easy. The group is constantly on the move, avoiding the law while searching for the big score that will set them up with enough cash to finally get far away from the rest of the world. The game isn't exactly subtle about its premise. There are multiple times when Arthur or Dutch will explicitly decry the decline of the Wild West and the rise of modern civilization. Arthur's attitude aside, the group dynamic is an ingenious way to structure an open-world game. The problem with these sprawling experiences is that there's often a disconnect between what you should be doing and what you want to do. There's an evil that needs to be defeated or a magical item that has to be retrieved to save the world, but all you want to do is mess around driving cars or chatting with people in town. In most games, the side activities feel entirely separate from the plot, but this disconnect doesn't exist in RDR2. For most of the game, your only real goal is to survive. The gang constantly needs money and resources, which fits perfectly well with a game ostensibly about committing many crimes. There are missions to take on, which typically revolve around a big score, like robbing a bank or hijacking a train. But virtually every other thing you do in the game also contributes to this. Even seemingly excessive side activities serve a purpose. You can hunt buffalo and deer or go fishing, which provides valuable items and helps keep the group fed. Going off and playing poker is fun, but it's also yet another way to get money. These moments flow in a very natural way. You don't pick side missions from the menu. They come up organically. You might be heading back to camp to drop off a rabbit carcass, and someone will pull you aside to tell you about a lead on a new heist or ask you to take their bored kid fishing. Arthur might find a letter from his long-lost love sitting on his bed, yanking him in yet another direction. The line between the story and side missions is very blurry in RDR2, and the same goes for some of the more minor interactions you'll have throughout the game, which can open up new storylines or unlock content. As you travel, you come across all kinds of people, many of whom need help. Needy strangers will ask you for money, or you might ride past someone kidnapped on the open road. Often intervening can lead you in exciting directions. As natural as this can feel, the game's skeleton will be familiar to anyone who has played a Rockstar game before. Structurally, the game is very reminiscent of GTA 5. Most missions involve sneaking in somewhere to steal something or kill someone, and eventually they devolve into a shootout. RDR2 has a weighty feel to it that fits with the setting. The guns have an actual weight to them and take time to reload, while fistfights can be brutal, violent slogs that seem ripped out of Netflix's Daredevil. The violence can also get tiring. Big shootouts involve an improbable number of enemies coming at you in waves, and sitting behind cover shooting cops eventually gets old. Much like in Fallout 4, RDR2 also loves to show particularly gruesome kills. If you get an excellent headshot, time will slow, and the camera will zoom in on the bloody spectacle. It's astonishing the first time you see it, but not so much the 100th. Perhaps not surprisingly, for a Western, a considerable portion of the game is spent on horseback. The horses are analogous to cars in GTA. They're your primary transportation, necessary for getting around the vast world of RDR2. You can steal one if you're in need, and there are different breeds with different attributes. You can even upgrade a horse by giving it better shoes or a new haircut. Large swaths of the story unfold this way. While you go on long rides across the country, characters will talk about virtually everything. The struggles of the gang, personal relationships, future dreams, and the constant encroachment of civilization. These moments would seem tedious if they weren't so well done. You can never get bored of getting to know these characters while taking in the gorgeous scenery. Snowy white fields or wide open plains, clear blue skies, or dark ones lighting up with crackles of lightning. Horses are more than transportation. They help form a personal connection to the world. Players can bond with a specific horse over time. Its abilities will increase if they look after it and give it attention. Many find it soothing to brush down a steed after a stressful battle. Horses can get spooked in battle and even die if they're not careful. Stables are available, so players can keep multiple horses, though some may choose to stick with only one for most of their time in the game. It can feel strange to trade in a horse after experiencing so much together. In RDR2, the world is changing and players are constantly moving, so their horses can be the one constant in their lives. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the most nuanced and emotionally complex game Rockstar has ever made. This isn't a developer known for restraint or grace, but both are on display regarding the characters and stories of RDR2. Of particular note is the way the game approaches race. Dutch's gang is shockingly diverse, with Black, Mexican, Native American, and mixed-race characters, and their leader is fiercely protective of them all. The game is less successful when it comes to the treatment of women. While plenty of female characters are in the group aside from one woman, who only becomes an actual gunslinging badass more than halfway through the game. They're mostly relegated to side roles like mothers, lovers, and caregivers. The only place where the immersion of RDR2's world is truly broken comes in some unscripted moments inherent in the crime-focused GTA model. The main issue is that it's straightforward to accidentally commit a crime, and when you do, you're punished for it. The game's contextual buttons, which do different things depending on the situation, can be a particular source of frustration. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Red Dead Redemption 2. Even years later, it's clear why this game remains a timeless classic. Have you played it recently, or do you have a favorite moment that made you love the game even more? Share it with us in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more gaming content like this. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.